All right, so I am on Brainzilla.com. This is the agility competition logic grid puzzle, and I'm going to try to walk you through this step by step. Now, I'm assuming that you have some basic understanding of how these work on an easier level, and you're just trying to step up to a harder level. So let's take a look at this one, and we'll go through our clues one by one. First of all, I know that only the winning dog has the same initial letter in their name and their breed. So what that tells me is that either Beanie's going to be the boxer, or Cheetah is the collie, or Thor is the shepherd, or Thor is the terrier, Susie's the shepherd. So it's got to be one of those four boxes, but no more than that. So right now I can't do anything with that clue, but that's going to be really important when we come back to it later. All right, secondly, the boxer ranked one position after the shepherd. So here's my boxer, here's my shepherd, here's the positions for them. So if the boxer was after the shepherd, then the boxer can't be in first and the shepherd can't be in last place. So we've got that to start off. And the rest of this clue tells you that neither of them likes the tunnel or jumping through the tire. So the boxer does not like the tunnel or the tire, and neither does the shepherd. So we can eliminate those. All right. Now, there's actually a few other things that we can do with this clue. We've kind of finished off with all the face value stuff for this clue, but we can actually conclude several more things from this. First of all, starting in this box down here. So because we know that the boxer and the shepherd don't do these things, that means that the collie and the terrier must do these. Either we're here and here, or we're here and here, right? So these two have to be taken up by the collie and the terrier, which means that I can cross out these boxes, right? So the collie and the terrier are going to be occupied here. That means that they can't be doing plank and pulls. Or since the boxer and the shepherd can't do these two, they have to be in these two. So we've actually crossed out quite a bit in that box. Now, the other thing we can do is going back to clue one, we know that the winning dog has the same initial letter in their name and breed. And we said that the boxer can't be in first place. So if he's not in first place, then he can't be named Beanie, right? Because then he would have to be the winning dog. So Beanie can't be a boxer, and therefore Beanie also can't be in first place. All right, so that clue was really good, but I haven't quite finished with that boxer being ranked one after the shepherd, so I'm going to leave it for now. Next one, Cheetah and the dog who loves poles. One was first and the other one was third. So the first thing I can conclude from this is that Cheetah was not the dog who loved poles. So I can go to Cheetah and I can say, okay, Cheetah was not the dog who loved poles. But then it also tells me that the two of them were first and third place. So Cheetah has to either be first or third, and the dog who loves poles also has to be either first or third. Okay, so that was helpful, and I used all of the clues in that hint, I think. Oh, wait, no, I might come back to that later, so I'm going to leave that. All right, Thor doesn't like the plank. He didn't come in second. Thor does not like the plank. He did not come in second. That's just kind of done. There's not much else I can do with that for right now, and I've used all the information in the clues, so I'm going to get rid of it. Next, Cheetah either loves the tunnel or she came in fourth place. So Cheetah either loves the tunnel or she came in fourth place, but we already said Cheetah didn't come in fourth place. Therefore, Cheetah must love the tunnel. All right, so that's excellent. That's our first true statement here. Now, from that true statement, I know that Cheetah did not come in second or fourth place, and since Cheetah was in the tunnel also can't be in second and fourth place, right? And then from there, I can actually conclude some more stuff, right? Because this is a similar setup to what we did down in this box, right? We've now said that tunnel and poles have to be in first and third. So that means that plank and tire are going to have to be in the second and fourth, right? So plank and tire are going to have to be second and fourth. So we can kind of crisscross that box a little bit there. All right, excellent. Clue number 6, the dog who loves the plank was one position after the dog who loves poles. So the dog who loves plank was one position after the dog who loves poles. So what does that tell me? Well, that means that if the dog poles was in first place, then plank has to be second, right? If poles was third place, plank has to be fourth. Okay, so they have to go on these diagonals. You can't have like plank here and then poles here, because then they're not one position apart. Okay, so we're okay with that for now. There's not much else I can do with it at the moment, but we're going to keep that in the back of our minds. 7, Susie is not a shepherd and Beanie doesn't like the tunnel. So Susie is not a shepherd, right? Susie's not a shepherd. First place, they have to have the same letter. So Susie doesn't come in first and neither does the shepherd. Okay, and then Beanie doesn't like the tunnel. I actually already had that marked off, so I don't have to do anything with that. Okay, so we've gone through all of our clues. We've made a lot of progress here. So before I go through the clues again, I'm just going to check really quick and see if I can do anything else with this check mark. So I know that cheetah is in the tunnel, right? When I look down here, I have the boxer and the shepherd can't be in the tunnel, right? So then I can conclude that cheetah is not the shepherd and cheetah is not the boxer. So we can also kind of eliminate that. So that's going to make things a little bit easier for us. All right. And I think that's it for the moment. So let's loop back. We've been using this clue number 1 a lot, but there's really not much I can do with it. So for right now, I know I'm down to either cheetah's the collie or Thor's the terrier. One of those two things has to be true. I'm not sure what yet. All right. The boxer ranked 1 position after the shepherd, right? We didn't deal anything with that yet. So if the boxer is 1 position after the shepherd, let's take a look at that. We said that the boxer and the shepherd have to be plank and poles, right? So they have to be plank and poles. And then remember we had that other clue that said that the plank was 1 position after the poles? Okay, so the boxer and the shepherd, right, they have to be plank and poles. And the dog who loves plank has to be after the dog who loves poles. All right, so how can we use this? Well, so what I can conclude from that is that if the boxer has to be after the shepherd, right? And then down here, I know that plank has to come after poles, and the two of them have to be plank and poles, right? So the boxer is after the shepherd, plank is after poles. That means that the boxer is going to have to be plank, and the shepherd is going to have to be poles. Okay, so now we've got 2 of those figured out. So what can I do with that? Well, okay, now if the boxer is going to be plank, these 2 can't be plank, or they can't be the boxer rather, so therefore they can't be plank. So, okay, we figured out then that Susie's our plank dog. There we go. We can check that one off. All right, let's check this one, poles. So poles can't go with one of these 2. I actually already had that checked off. Okay, so we got a little bit farther. So we're making some definite progress here. All right, so the next piece that we're going to take a look at, right? So we've figured out a lot of this stuff. Now I want to come back to this guy right here about the winning dog. So what we've narrowed it down to for the winning dog is that it's got to be either cheetah or Thor. And like we said before, either that means cheetah's going to be the collie and be in first place, or Thor will be the terrier and be in first place. So let's just think about that for a second. Think about what would happen. Okay, if cheetah's in first place, she's the collie, right? And that means that Thor would not be allowed to be the shepherd, right? Because, I'm sorry, the terrier, because then he'd have the same first initial, right? So he'd have to be the shepherd. Okay, so that's a possibility that cheetah is the collie and Thor's the shepherd. The other option is that Thor came in first place. If Thor came in first place, then he's the terrier, and that means cheetah would have to be the collie. But that's an issue, right? Because then we have 2 dogs that start with the same initial, and we know that that can't be a thing that happens. So if Thor's in first place, we have a contradiction. So Thor cannot be in first place, which means cheetah has to be in first place. And if cheetah's in first place, then she's the collie. Thor can't be the terrier because he's not in first anymore. So now we've got this box totally filled in. All right, and we're definitely making progress. So let's see what else we can fill in here. So we now know all of our different dogs here. I know that poles goes with Thor, so Thor goes with poles. I've now got this box filled in. Okay, I also know that the tunnel was in first place. So tunnel down here is in first place. Okay, and then from here, remember we said that poles has to come before plank, right? So between these 2 choices, right, the dog who loves plank came in after the dog who loves poles. So plank can't come first. He's got to be after poles. So it's got to be this guy, and then poles, and then plank. And then from here, it's just a matter of cleaning things up, right? The tire was in second place, so I can put a second place here, right? Poles was in third place, so I can put a check here. There we go. Check my answer. Congratulations, you win. So there's your solution, and that's how you can walk through that problem. Hopefully you found that